Another person down here said, another self-hating white. Hi, I'm Danielle Romero, and welcome to my channel where we talk about American identity and family stories. And I want to show you what came in the mail today. I'm going to have to get up. This came in the mail today, and I didn't even know this was a thing when I started my YouTube channel. I had no idea because I started my channel for my family, just kind of sharing the family stories I had been saving, and I've been recording and interviewing with some people in their family, just what they remembered. And so I just can't believe that the channel has grown into this. And this is you. Like, this to me represents our community. I'm so proud of what we've been doing together. So thank you so much for being there. So I love reading the Ancestry23andMe subs on Reddit. I think there's so many interesting conversations happening where people are taking DNA tests and you're seeing things play out in real time. And I wanted to share one that I saw today. It made me a little sad. And maybe it's something that will resonate with you. So let's hop over to the shared screen. And if you'd like to connect with me off of YouTube, you can join me on my Patreon at NYTN. I would love to see you over there. Otherwise, let's hop over. So it's in the Ancestry DNA sub, and it just said not as diverse as I thought. So before we even get into this, this is someone sharing their Ancestry DNA results. And I saw somebody comment something really good about these DNA tests on one of the videos the other day. It was basically, don't think of these as your percentages. Think of it as the percentage of people who are similar to you, have similar background, because you can't set your heart on these numbers. They change, and every test is a little different. So this is what this person's post was. Not as diverse as I hoped. And I don't think there was any other information with this. It just was shared. So it said 88% Irish with a million communities, 11% Scottish, 1% Wales, or I think you would say Welsh, right? And so people were kind of just assuming, well, are you upset that, like, what do you mean by that? Why are you disappointed in your results? And I wanted to just jump down to some of the comments here, and then I want to have a conversation with you and see what you think. So this person said, be proud of your heritage. Another person down here said, another self-hating white. And then I really loved this one down here. There must still be a story in there somewhere, though. Someone traveled and others look like they were there for a very long time. Do you know your story? And then this one I loved. A little bit Irish, I see. So I want to talk about this. Not as diverse as I hoped. Okay, let's break that down. So I think sometimes when people come to my channel, they see the title of a video or a couple titles, and they make an assumption about me. They make a lot of assumptions. One is that I hate white people, or that I hate myself, or that I'm trying to not be white, or I'm trying to not be black, or I'm trying not to be Mexican, or whatever's in their heart that day, and they let me know. What is hard about these tests is I think that there are a lot of people who are hoping to have something kind of just out of line with what they expected. And seeing that person's comment saying another self-hating white person really made me feel sad, because one, if you've been on my channel, you know that I don't think the term white is really that helpful. It just you're taking a ton of very diverse people, different backgrounds, cultures, languages, food, history, and you're lumping it all together and saying these people are all the same enough. And I think that's weird. I think that's weird to do with any of these colors, honestly. Like it's just not, this is not what I believe. I think sometimes we look at these things and we paint with a very broad brush. But as I've been looking into my Irish ancestry, I realized that Irish stuff is crazy. Like, I started diving into the Northern Ireland, Southern Ireland stuff, and trying to understand what was going on there. And where we may look and say, well, this is a monolithic thing, you're just Irish, that's not the history. That's not the history there. And so I think it's really dangerous to be taking these tests and then not have the accompanying history, context of the area, understanding your family story. And so I would love to hear from you. Were you disappointed in your DNA tests? Did you feel like they weren't diverse enough? I feel like that's one of those hot button words that we hear now. We want diversity and all that. And I'm like, yeah, diversity is great, but there's a diverse amount of diversity, right? It's not all about what country you're from or like how much melanin do you have in your skin. There's all kinds of different things that we can be looking at, and the world is full of beautiful stories from all places. And I think that part of the problem with this is that there has been so much focus on these crayon colors, especially here in America. I don't think this person is American. I'm guessing they're not based on their results. Maybe they are. And we just don't know a lot about our family story. Like one of the other commenters said, like, there are stories in your family tree. And maybe the DNA test isn't what you wanted it to be. Maybe it's not what you were told it was going to be, because that's a big one, right? But either way, your family tree has some pretty amazing stories in it. It's crazy. Like if you start digging a little bit, even if you don't really know what you're doing, just start poking around and learning how to do that research. It's amazing. And in particular, this one was really interesting to me because I do have a lot of Irish ancestry, and my great-great-grandfather came from Ireland, and my Grammy, her maiden name was Donnelly, originally Dunlay, an Irish last name. I know that I don't know a lot about that history, and I hate the idea of looking at Irish history, for example, and just being like, well, those are just white, that's white people, that's boring. Like, that's crazy. That's crazy to say. I wish we could shake out of that a little bit. I think focusing more on our family stories is the key to this. It's the key to having healthy pride in who we are. I think there are a lot of people who have a misplaced pride in their identity, and they're focused so much on stuff that doesn't really matter instead of maybe researching the stories of the people who got you where you're at. Like that matters, and that's amazing. Somebody had said, well, it's all Ireland to me, and then someone else said, well, if only, dreams of Irish unification. And this idea that there's a lot of nuance to all of these places, and when we only talk in white, black, red, yellow, brown, I know some of those have lost their luster. We still use some of them, which just still amazes me. I know I talk about this a lot, but like, can you imagine if you turned on the news, which I highly suggest not doing, if you turned on the news and it was saying, and the yellow vote is going to this candidate and the red vote is going to this candidate, it would be an uproar. So why are we still saying white, black, and brown votes? That's crazy to me. Can we stop with that nonsense, please? I'm serious. I'm just amazed that we are still going along with some of this stuff. So, and that's how you get in a situation like this where someone takes a DNA test and instead of taking the time to dig into that family story and learn the good, the bad, the ugly, everything in between, to just immediately be disappointed is sad to me. And so I would love to hear your thoughts on this. And if you'd like to see the video, my most recent DNA test that I took, I had a couple surprises show up on there. I will link to it. It was a MyHeritage test. So let me know what you think, and let me know what kind of stories you think I should bring on. I am looking for some more. I'm going to focus, I think, a little bit more on some of those interviews. Let me know what you think about that. And thank you so much for being with me. I love having you, and we'll talk soon.